Okay, and if you'll all accept kindly, thank you very much. Okay, so as I noted, I dropped Form 3 in the chat for you all, and I will be sending that out via email as well. I'm dropping it one more time because it looks like Anthony just joined us and maybe Roger as well. So, and I just went around the room to find out if you all had dissertation chairs as opposed to a chair to sit on. So differentiating between those. Oh, Roger, I did. See, I saw your face and then I remembered I already asked you. All right. So this evening, friends, we're going to be walking through the qualifying exam expectations. So I'm going to put the agenda for our time together up on the screen. So give me just a minute to get that up on the screen, friends. You can take a look at it as I am talking. So let me pull that up. No reason for, I mean, you can take a picture of it if you want, but really I'm just going to be talking about these items, and you will be sent the directions for the qualifying exam. So this currently, these are not the directions. This is just the agenda for our time together right now. Okay. But I will be sending you the directions for the qualifying exam as we get a little bit closer. So we've had an opportunity to greet one another, say hello, check in regards to dissertation chairs, and it looks like almost all of you have a chair, which is fantastic. So a little bit about the qualifying exam format. There will be a random selection of questions. So I have been in communication with all of your professors to date. They are sending me questions, case study type questions, and a rubric in which to use to score those questions. From those questions, I will randomly select four for our higher ed friends, four for our PK through 12 friends. All right. From those four for each content area, what's the word I'm looking for? Track, something of that nature. Can't come up with the right word at the moment. I will then on November 9th email our PK through 12 friends their 4 selected questions that you'll study. And I'll email our community college higher ed track their 4 selected questions to study. Those questions that I pick will be randomized. I will literally put them in a bowl, and turn my head and pull out 4 questions, 4 for the community college friends, 4 for our PK through 12 friends. So I won't be identifying, I won't say, ooh, that one looks good. That's not what I'm going to do. Will be randomized. You will get those questions allowing you to study for that month prior. And I'll talk about studying in just a minute. You can see that studying comes up in just a minute in regards to the qualifying exam process. On the day of the exam, December 9th, what do you need to bring? You need to bring you. You need to bring you, and you need to bring your driver's license. We know who you are. However, part of our protocol, part of our expectations, and part of our is requesting to, I'm recording this meeting, am I not? Okay.
Oh yes, that's me. It's an AI note taker.
Got it. Oh, okay. David, did you just pop in? Did I miss you?
Yes, I popped in.
Oh, okay. Welcome. Okay. I'm like, I didn't see you. So, okay. Glad you're here. So what are you going to bring? You're going to bring you, and you're going to bring your driver's license or some type of ID with your photo on it. It's just part of the protocol. It's us making sure that we are proctoring the exam accurately and appropriately. All right. You can also bring a snack. So that snack will go at the front of the room. And when you would like to, go up and have some of your water or some of your crackers or some of your apple, you're welcome to do so. Those are the things that you can bring with you. What not to bring. Do not bring any technological devices. No Apple Watch, no computer. You can bring your phone in, but we will be collecting them. So we will have a basket or something to collect your phones. So the intention here, as you can tell, is no technology is allowed. This qualifying exam is using the information in your brain and no access to technology. The computers that you will be typing on have been disabled from any type of access to the internet. I believe you'll have access to Word, so there will be spell check on there. Sharon, is that correct? They'll have access to Word. Is that accurate?
Yes, they will.
Yes. So you'll have access to Word. So you'll have, spell check and other such things to respond to these questions. We have 2 rooms. You'll be assigned to one of the rooms, and we'll let you know that as we get a little bit closer. So it's randomized. It's not like all of K-12 is going to one room and community college higher ed to the other. It will be randomized to mix you up. How to study. So when you receive your 4 questions, we really do encourage you to form study groups. I know I've already heard mention of study groups, which is fantastic. We encourage you to talk through these together. They will be case study type of questions. Talk through these together. Talk through these scenarios together. However, do not write out the exact same response that you all memorize, because then we have a problem, friends, right? Because then that is, a type of plagiarizing. You're all writing the same response. It's cheating. And that is will result in a failed response on your qualifying exam. Talk through them, practice them together, but you do need to have different responses. Your responses to these questions cannot be verbatim. So even though you'll all receive 4 questions that you'll study, I individually will pick 3 again in a hat without me looking. I will pick 3 of those questions from the 4 that you will take on that day. So you'll be responding to 3 questions the day of the qualifying exam out of the 4 that I provide to you. So you'll study for all 4 of them. And then on the day of the exam, you will receive 3 questions. I'm just going to pause here and see what questions you might have thus far. I want to make sure I'm being accurate and clear in my directions. Yeah, Carrie, go ahead, please.
Is it possible from all of the professors that you're going to draw questions from, is it possible that we can exclude any question from Dr. J? Is that possible?
Unfortunately, it's not possible. So we will be including research questions. So your scientific inquiry, your qual, and your quant. Now, Carrie, those will all be in the big hat. Remember, I'm choosing 4 from that hat, right? So maybe a question from Dr. J will not be one of the 4 that I choose. Oh, that just sent like 3 hands up in the
and if there and if one of the Dr. J's question, one of the 4, just exclude his from the 3 that you give us. That's what we want.
I understand. Yes, loud and clear, Carrie. Yes, I will absolutely manipulate the process. Sure. Okay, I saw some other hands go up, but okay, so Audrey and then Sailesh. Oh my.
I just wanted to
Go ahead. Home scholars, yes.
I just wanted to double check. Are we supposed to memorize the authors and the years for our references in APA format to include?
Audrey, great question. Thanks for asking that. So we do expect you to include some citations. So author and year. You don't need to write out full, text of the article, journal, etc. But we do expect some citations, to add, to contribute to your responses. So it's not just, hey, I came up with this off the top of my head. Here's my brilliant understandings, but you will be citing. Thank you, Audrey, for asking that question. Appreciate it. Sailesh.
My question is the opposite of Carrie. Do you get to choose Dr. J's question? I'm just kidding. But do we get to choose any question?
It's randomized, Sailesh. So I will choose 4 for community college higher ed because that's your track, and I'll be choosing 4 for K-12.
So we don't get to choose any.
You don't get to choose any. It's all done from a baseball cap in my house. So the first 4 for K-12, the first 4 for higher ed community college, and then I will send you those 4. And then as we get closer to the exam, from those 4, for each of you, I will put those 4 in the hat, pick 3. So I'll pick 3 for you, 3 for Audrey, 3 for Carrie, 3 for, David, 3 for the next person. Yes, as I keep mixing them up.
I have one more question. You said the question will be sent out in November 9th. Is that the procedure, or do we get to prep earlier?
That is the procedure. You get them 1 month ahead of time. Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Karen.
Yes, you're welcome. You're welcome. So again, study groups are fantastic. And that's where you can go back and look at your notes and who were key authors, who were key researchers in regards to that. That can help you with your citations, right? So that you're all making sure you're looking at some of the same researchers, but just make sure you don't have a formulated response that you all have kind of put together and you're ready to drop on your page. Sailesh, your hand is still up. Did you have another question? No, okay. So when you take the day of the exam, when you come, obviously, friends, I mean, I would tell my friends this in K-12, right? Have a good breakfast, right? Get a good night's sleep, all those things to take care of yourselves so that when you come, you're ready, right? When you arrive, again, we will check your ID. That's part of our protocol. You'll be moved to one of 2 rooms to take your exam. You will put your things up front. You'll be given a blue book. So you'll be allowed to take notes in that book. So you'll have a folder with your 3 questions, and those will be specific to you. What we encourage you to do is consider your time frame. You'll have about 3 hours. Sharon Enrique, can you confirm 3 hours?
Yes, you'll have 3 hours. One thing that I think worked really well, and maybe Dr. Brown-Welty can expand on this, is you had mentioned the blue book. And so what I think works well is what I've seen is we get you the blue book, you instead of just jumping straight to the computer, I've seen students, they jot down their bullet points on the blue book. And then they use that as to guide them as they're, so you take the first 10 minutes or whatever to write in your blue book. It does really help, I think.
Yes, thanks, Enrique. So organizing your writing. So looking at your 3 questions that you received that morning, kind of jotting out some type of mind map, graphic organizer, something to help you think question 1, question 2, question 3, Who are the authors? What are the main points? Who are key researchers? What are things I want to make sure to address in each of these 3 questions? So give yourself time to do that. What do I know about these things that I've already studied? Because you will have studied these 4 questions, right? So what do I know? Let me put that information down, and then I'll start working on Q1, Q2, Q3. When you begin typing those out, the expectation, and I don't necessarily want to say the expectation, the average length, if you will, is approximately 3 pages double spaced per question. Is that correct, Sharon?
Response.
Yeah.
Per question, per response. Enrique, am I using the right language?
Yes.
Yes,
That's
yes.
about, yes.
Yes. So 2 to 3 pages, double spaced per question. So just be thinking about that. So give yourself time to map out each of the 3 questions. That way you don't get to that 3rd question and you're like, oh, snap, my brain's kind of done. If you've already done some mind mapping, some graphic organizer, you already have some notes there and you're feeling, okay, I'm ready to move on to this 3rd question. Marvin, I saw your hand was up. Go ahead, friend.
Thank you. You got right into it, which was the length of the writings. Thank you.
Perfect. You're very welcome.
And we'll be
You're-
periodically reminding you, okay, it's been an hour since you started, and therefore you now have 2 hours left. So we'll constantly remind you, maybe every half hour, but then once it gets closer to the end, maybe every 15 minutes or something, we'll let you know. So you have to, pace yourself, basically an hour per question. And I see Carrie's hand.
Yeah. Carrie, go ahead, please.
So I just want to be clear. So of the 4 questions that you'll select, we all get the same 4 questions, or we're getting a different set? I just want to be clear what you said. Just want to be
Great
clear.
question. No, I appreciate you clarifying. So on November 9th, you'll all get the same 4 questions per track. So my higher ed friends will get the same 4 questions. My PK through 12 friends will get the same 4 questions. Of those 4 questions, the day of the exam, you will receive 3 questions, Carrie. Those 3 questions will be this different per person, because I will put them back in my hat. 3 questions for Carrie. Put them back in the hat. 3 questions for Audrey. Back in the hat. 3 questions for Marvin.
Okay,
I
that's
wanna-
very, that's
I
very
wanna-
clear.
I want to clarify something. The exam begins at 9 and ends at 1, so that they get 4 hours.
4 hours.
10, 11,
Great.
12, 1. That's 4 hours.
Good. So definitely bring a snack, friends, because you're going to want to, provide some nutrients to yourself. Yes, Audrey.
Sorry, just another question about the citation. So should we only be referencing materials from our textbooks, or if we find, like, as we're preparing other researchers with more recent stuff and we cite them, is that okay?
Dr. Brown-Welty, help me out here.
No, you should only be unless you discussed it in class. This is just about what you've discussed in class and used in class.
Thank you for that. Thanks. Great question, Audrey, because I did not know the answer to that. Marvin, go ahead.
Thank you. So I just want to make sure that the allotment of time is such that it doesn't include any introductories and niceties before. And next thing I know, I really only have 45 minutes per essay type of thing.
We will not say good morning to you.
So can I said you're going to get a set of instructions, and we ask you to be there at 8:30. So everybody's asked to be there by 8:30, and the exam starts at 9. So that
Thank
gives
you.
you a chance to, we can go over instructions, but it starts exactly at 9 o'clock.
So I can say good morning to Marvin. Okay,
Yes.
excellent, excellent. All right. There's a few moments for niceties, Marvin. Just a few. Okay.
There's some
Good.
cushion. Thank you.
There's a little cushion time for good
And
morning.
I'll be here as early as 8 o'clock, 8:15. You know,
Yeah.
if you feel nervous and want to be here early.
Mhm.
But it'll all be randomized. Half of you in one class. That's where I'll be in one, and then the other half will be with Dr. Escalante in the other room. And Sherry mentioned this, but I'll just repeat: bring your ID, because we have to check your ID, make sure you're the right person. And again, don't bring anything. And even like if, let's say, you want to use the restroom, I don't know if this was covered, but only one person at a time.
Thank you. I didn't mention that. Yeah. I did not.
And we have a like a roster, so you can go use the restroom, you sign out, go use the restroom, and then when you come back in, you sign in. Only because we want to be extra about this.
Friends, as you can see, this is an official assessment. We do take this very seriously, and we hold all of you and ourselves responsible for the ethical completion of this assessment. So a little bit about the grading. So once you are, I will say, once you're done, once you are like, I'm good. If you finish before the time is up, you are welcome to leave. You don't need to stay and wait for your peers to finish. You're welcome to let us know that you are done. We will get your work off of the computer, and you are welcome to exit. We will be assigning you a number on your responses, so that when it goes to one of our readers, which is a faculty member, they do not know who it is. They do not know whose work they are reading. So it's a blinded review. Your responses, each question will be read by 2 faculty members. The score that you can receive per question is 0, 1, or 2. 0 is a not passing score. 1 is sufficient. 2 is very well done. So in order to pass a question from the 2 readers, you need to get a 1 or a 2. If you receive a 0 from one of your readers, it will go to a 3rd reader. So this has happened very infrequently, but it has happened. But like I said, very infrequently. So if there's a 0 that you receive from one of your readers, it will go to a 3rd reader. That reader then reads it and assigns a 0, 1, or 2. If it so happens that one of your responses receives 2 zeros, then that would be one of your questions that you would need to complete again. But I do not believe we have had anyone not pass the qualifying exam in the last few years. Enrique and Sharon, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe everyone's passed in the last few years.
That's
Everyone's
correct.
passed, but there have been people who've they received a score of 0, so it did have to go to a 3rd reader.
Correct.
Dr. Brown?
Yes, that's correct.
Great. Thank you. So just something for you to be aware of, so you know the scoring process. Your responses are scored using rubrics. Now, traditionally in education, we share rubrics so that you are aware of how you are scored. In this scenario, we cannot, because the responses are built into the rubric. So the correct answers are built into the rubric. So we can't share those with you ahead of time. But I know in education, typically we share rubrics with students so they know how to score and what the expectations are and the criteria. In this case, we're not able to do that. So just wanted to make you all aware of that. Typically, it takes about 2 to 3 weeks for all of our faculty to finish scoring your qualifying exams. Once all of the exams have been scored, And we have to wait for all of them. You know, again, sometimes there's a delay. Faculty are extremely busy at the end of the semester with grades and additional finals, and we know that our faculty are all wearing many hats. So sometimes it just takes a little bit of time. So thank you in advance for your patience. So it does take a few weeks. When all the qualifying exams have been scored, you will receive an individual email from Candace or Dr. Stacy Ortiz letting you know whether you have passed the qualifying exam and you have been advanced to candidacy, where you become a doctoral candidate. So right now you're still a doctoral student. When you have passed the qualifying exam, you become a doctoral candidate. So I'll pause again and see what questions you might have, friends.
Karen, I have a question. I don't know if there's any
Yes,
hands.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I thought you already mentioned that the rubric will be shared, but now you said that it will not be shared.
The rubric will not be shared. No,
Yeah,
I didn't
and
put that in any of my emails.
No. I
Oh,
thought
okay.
earlier, probably I was just driving. My question is, now you said maybe this is too early to ask. You said we will receive questions, and I'm assuming there are enough prompts for us to know how much to respond, rather than like a super open-ended question, and it's like a subjective how much we should write to suffice, the response.
You might have
So
been
if you don't have,
you might have been switching from car to house. So 2 to 3 pages, double spaced, typed
yes,
per question. Is that
no,
you're
I
asking me
got that
something different?
part.
Okay, you're asking me something
Yeah,
different.
I got the lengthwise. I'm asking now, if there is a question, how would you resolve the conflict between principal and teachers? It's pretty wide open-ended question, but if we don't know, what is expected per rubric, since we're not getting the rubric, how do we prepare ourselves to form the question? 3 pages, we can write anything. And perhaps we are not hitting any point that is in the rubric. So just to prepare better, again, it might be too early to ask. Does the question include any of those guiding prompts that, okay, you have to prepare within so and so?
So they are based on problems of practice related to your core courses. And I'm gonna take this down to Dr. Brown-Welty to provide more insight, if you don't mind, Sharon.
Sure. The questions are very explicit about what they're looking for.
Okay.
And you're going to see them. You'll have 30 days. And if you have questions about the question, when you get them, you can feel free to ask us. But honestly, we can't give you the rubric because it has the answer in it. So there wouldn't be any.
No, I understand, Dr. Welty. I think, like I said, I might be asking too ahead of time. So once we see the questions, if there is enough prompts, I think I'm good. I don't need to see rubric.
They're very explicit. They ask for very explicit. There's very explicit
Got it.
directions of what they want.
Wonderful. Thank you.
And I would suggest you be as comprehensive as you can. I wouldn't think, well, I've already written enough. I would put everything in there I know.
Okay, that sorry to ask. So the follow-up question would be, you said the minimum requirement is 3 pages. Let's say I keep going on.
Now, if you want to write 4 pages, you go ahead and write 4 pages. But usually students ask us what the average is. Okay. And I'm just telling you the average for what has been turned in the past is between 2 and 3 pages. Got it. But you can write as much as you want.
Okay.
Provided you have the time, right? Provided you space out your time. Yeah.
We just got 1 more hour. We got 4 hours. So
yeah. So I would also suggest, when you're doing your blue book thing, we're going to keep telling you how much time you have left. And in your blue book, if you put bullet points about what you want to address in each question, and that will help you at least make sure you answer every question. And then if you want to go back and backfill some questions after you've hit your major bullet points or do some proofreading, that's always a strategy.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Leon.
I was just curious in regard to the scenario if a student were to receive a 0 and then a third reader is pulled in, how is like unconscious bias mitigated or minimized in that scenario?
They wouldn't know that the first score was a 0. They just are part of the scoring. We're still scoring. Can you score this submission, please?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you for asking that. Great questions. So, friends, a reminder that I've dropped Form 3 into the chat, and I will also email it out. So this is one of your milestones. When you complete this, and you can do this anytime after we finish this evening, you will send it to EDD at Enrique. Will you put that email in the chat? Do you remember?
Yes,
Thank
yes.
you. You'll send it to the main edd.something.csusb.edu. So there's too many emails to remember. You'll send it to that email address, please. Again, this is one of your milestones, working towards that completion of the doctoral program. I will be following up with an email, just thanking you all for attending. This will be posted to YouTube. And Enrique, if you are able to get me that link, I can include that in the email so that if anyone missed this or came in late or would like to watch it again, that's another resource for all of our friends here. Anything else that any of us can support with this evening?
Right now is the time to ask anything.
Hopefully this gave you the information to, I know there's been some fears and lots of questions. Yeah, Thomas, go ahead, friend.
Hi there. I had a little question. I wanted to ask, when we're placed into our separate classrooms to take our exam, is it just going to be an ocean of typing that we're just going to be listening to while we're trying to think of the our responses, or are you going to play like some lo-fi in the background or something like that? Is that something that will be provided?
Good question.
We haven't in the past.
I don't know if everyone appreciates. I don't know. My daughter and I had this conversation today. She told me she was listening to music while she took an exam. I said I could never. I have to have like a silent head. She's like, "What? I need to wear headphones." I'm like,
yeah.
I don't. So Thomas, that's a good question, and I don't have a good answer.
You can not headphones, but if noise bothers you, you could put earplugs or something. But other than that, you're just gonna hear click, click, click. People coughing, people, whatever. But that's about it.
That sounds very daunting. Yeah, I'll look up an alternative for sound canceling. Thank you.
Sorry. Audrey, I think your hand was up. You put it down.
Oh, it was just a follow-up because I was going to ask if I could use like these special earplugs to drown out the sound, but I don't know if they need to be approved prior to coming into the exam, if they're not electronic based.
They are electronic based. They're not.
They're not.
Okay. Let's talk offline.
Okay.
Okay.
Wireless, and you're listening, and someone's in the bathroom feeding you the answers.
She said.
I mean, yeah, definitely not that. I don't want to get expelled.
Wait, David, why'd you put jazzercise in here? What's that related to?
That's just what I thought about, like relaxing music, and I imagine people are going to start.
Oh, okay.
Maybe like dancing. I don't know.
I know it's some people can do it with the music. I'm like, I cannot concentrate with earbuds in. Can't. Yeah. So yeah, my daughter's like, yeah, I took a midterm today with headphones in. I'm like, can't even fathom. So but yeah, everyone's different, Thomas, right? Yeah. Any other questions we can answer at this time? Again, I will send a follow-up with Form 3 again. So please fill that out and send it to the EDD email address. I will send the instruction to you for the morning of in a few weeks as well. You'll also get the questions on November 9th. So there'll be some things, I'll be in communication with you. Have you all felt that I've been in communication with you? I've been trying to, send emails and yeah, okay.
I want to say thank you for this meeting. It was very, very informative. It's things that I definitely need. I think I feel at ease because, man, I was not going to lie. I was going through panic attacks. So I appreciate this meeting. Thank you.
You're very
Looks like Alma
welcome.
has her hand up.
Yes. Alma, go ahead, friend.
Okay, I think I remember somewhere along the line, and maybe I'm wrong, but someone may have said we could bring in a note card with information. No? Okay, then I heard that wrong. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. The rumors are always fun. I like to dispel those in teacher education as well. Yep. I'm like, let's hear it. Let's hear the rumors so I can dispel them. So, but Alma, thank you for asking so that there weren't any misunderstandings.
Everybody, has their own way of preparing. But before Alexander, I see your hand up, but just the way I've seen it, I'm not saying this is the way you have to do it, but when I studied for my comprehensive exams, I memorized the bullet points. So the first thing I did is I sit in front of my blue book and I write out the bullet points. And then I can go and then I can feel the stress reduces a little bit. And then I can just follow my bullet points and do the best I can and do it fast enough to make sure I answer all the questions in time before the time runs out.
Alexander, go ahead, please. Thanks, friend.
Yeah, sorry. It's a quick question. I think I probably know the answer to this, but I figured I'd ask. So since we're going to be typing for, anywhere from 3 to 4 hours, if we have like a specific kind of keyboard that we like, I'm assuming that would not be allowed to be brought into the exam. Just something like I have this keyboard that's got like very nice, very reminiscent of like mid 90s to early 2000s clickety clacks, and it's just very nice to type on. So I figured I would ask, but I assume things like that are probably not permitted. But
it'll go with the jazz music. I'm gonna Enrique, Sharon,
it has to be everybody has to have the same questions.
Have to have standardized
the same conditions.
Standardized, Alexander.
Yeah. And I saw, I don't know, Karen, but I saw here this noise reducing earplugs that Audrey shared. My daughter is slightly autistic and she has sensory whatever, and this has saved her life and so they do work.
Yeah.
Dr. Murillo, does that mean you're okay with that? The loop buds?
I'm okay with it. I don't know if it takes anything, but it's like it's just earplugs that cancel out the noise. Yeah.
I don't see any concern with that, just giving someone that quiet, right? Yeah.
And you're using desktops. Wait, is it laptop? No, you're
I don't know.
You're at you're in a room. And no, but you have a whole screen, so it's a desktop because you'll have the big screen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I wasn't sure if it's like a computer lab setting or like.
Yeah, it's the computer labs. It's on the second floor. You'll get the room numbers, but it's on the second floor. Our computer labs.
Yeah.
So I'd like to just kind of make a comment. So we've been giving this exam here for 3 years, but I gave it for 15 years at another university. And I just want to tell you that in what this is 18 years, there's only been 2 people in 18 years that did not pass on the first take. Okay, that I monitored. But they all passed on the second take. Because you don't have to retake the whole exam. You only have to retake the part that you didn't pass. And I want you to know that it's high stakes, it's high stress, but you have been prepared. You've been through these classes, you've done all this work. When you see the questions, it's going to be a no-brainer because it's like what you've learned, how do you apply it? So these are called problems of practice. So you're going to take all the theories, and you've probably done some of the problems of practice in your classrooms. It's going to be very similar, and you're going to have a whole month to really spend time trying to figure out, how to answer these questions. So, I wouldn't, it's a high stress. I can't take the stress away from you. It is high stress, but I want you to know, for the most part, 2 people in 18 years didn't had to retake a part of it. But in 18 years, everybody else passed. So, just go into it knowing that you have the knowledge. You did the classes, you passed the classes, you're going to pass this. You really are. It's not, we have faith in every one of you that you are going to pass this.
And our approach, our philosophy has always been that we're not here to keep you out. I mean, the program is set up not to block you and weed you out. On the contrary, we've tried to actually make it easier. Long story short, a few years back, people had to take their comps individually with their chairs, but it wasn't working out because for whatever reason, that's where the pipeline was leaking. So our strategy is have everybody come in on a Saturday, take your comps as a cohort, and then we're gonna we're gonna hand you over to your chair, and you can finish off your dissertation with the chair. But at least from our perspective, we feel like we want to make sure you pass the comps, that you've advanced to candidacy. And I know Dr. Brown shares this sentiment with me. The last 2 years or 3 years we've been doing this, when the students finish, they're actually like amazed, like, wow, like they've actually, like, I've learned a lot in the last year and a half. Like they're amazed at themselves. And then the students usually go out and have lunch, as a group to kind of debrief.
So plan a lunch date. Plan a lunch date. Yeah.
The students have told me afterwards that this was a kind of a good experience for them because they realized that they had the abilities to take what they learned in classes and actually take a real life problem and apply what they've learned to the problem. And it made them feel like what they were learning was really worth something. And so you'll see it, and you're going to have the questions. It's not going to be like a surprise. You have 4 questions. You're only going to have to answer 3 of them. It's just going to be, it's not going to be that hard, but you're going to be stressed. I know that. I can't take the stress away, but that's, it's doable. You just need to know it's going to be fine.
Yep.
You just have to study. You really do have to prepare for it. You can't let it go.
Yeah. Great. All right, friends, any additional questions? I want to give you your time back for any other projects, assignments, homework, family, a walk, dinner, an adult beverage. I don't know, whatever you might need at this moment in time. But I thank all of you for being here, for engaging, for asking great questions. I hope that you got the information that you needed. I will continue to be in communication. Communication's really important to me. I will continue to be in communication. You can count on that from me, okay? So Enrique, Sharon, and I will hang out in case there's any individual questions. If not, have a wonderful evening and I'll be in communication. And I'm gonna stop recording.
Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Take care.
Good night.